Alright, hello everybody. Welcome to the stream. I know it's been a couple weeks and I know I'm on YouTube for the first time in like ever. I've never streamed on YouTube. I've only ever streamed on Twitch, and it's because Twitch is kind of getting itself in some hot garbage. Yeah. I'm sure anyone who knows about the internet's been saw the news, you know. Anyone knowing about Twitch, anyone who spends time on the internet heard like the jokes about the leaks and shit and all that crap, all that stuff. Plus, let me just plus I kind of want to try YouTube out, see how it works. It's probably not going to be too much different. Like, in the end, it's still just me sitting here drawing, people commenting and stuff. Yeah, this is gonna be weird, but not weird. Yeah. Also, I don't have to worry about not recording it because I'll just save it anyways. At least it should. Let me check that actually. Okay. Alright. So, today I think we're just gonna do a character drawing. I kind of want to work on that. Like, I kind of need to go a bit. I need to work on like going over the top a little more. And I have done a few like character studies. You know, like designing things and stuff, like creating a character. I have made a character for a manga I want to put out next year sometime. It's a relatively simple one, like a simple ghost hunting one, but it is something I want to do. I want to start like actually putting out comics so I can actually get more attention for that. I can actually share this with people. And yeah, that's just one of those extra projects I want to work on, like as I create a good, decent schedule. And I was honestly hoping I'd have like an idea throughout the entire month of October, maybe even a bit into November, of like just doing stuff for the channel, like making banners and shit. I keep cursing. I'm not gonna. It's not like I'm monetized anyways. Okay, let's be honest. But yeah, I was hoping that to last, cause honestly, like I've said, like I'm just trying to catch up. Like I have art ready till like halfway through December. Like enough of that, and like that's even with me cutting a bunch down. And I don't want to do that thing where like I just start posting every day because I don't think I'll be able to keep up with that. You know, with everyday posting and stuff. Anyways, yeah, let's just get into it and we'll talk about it as we go. Let's start with this. Don't worry too much about facial features for now. That is another thing I want to get into, but that's like a whole nother thing. Like what I want to work on right now is like I don't know how to explain it, like the outfit, you know, like the shirt, the shirt. Like for me, I wear shirts that I find cool. Like I'm not gonna wear something I don't find cool. And that's why I wear shirts like this. Like it's the alien with the cat. You know, I have shirts that make pop culture references. It's something I'm interested in. It's just like a part of me, you know. And that's usually what I want to get into. With character design, you gotta make the outfit a part of them. It can't be just something they wear all the time. And you know, it really depends on the setting. Sometimes I do wear just something they just happen to wear, but usually, in that kind of sense, you can get a really good feel of how the character acts. For example, let's say you have someone wearing this is a basic pose by the way, wearing a business suit. You know, if they're always wearing a business suit, you're gonna assume they're probably like a business type person. Now maybe if they're in like a business setting and you see them wearing a business suit, yeah, that makes sense. You know, but if that were the case, if there's any time you're out of that business setting, they're still wearing the business suit, that like speaks to their character. You know, it's like how does a person view as casual, or is there even such a thing as casual? Are they always wearing this? Are they sometimes wearing it? I feel like I made the head a bit too small. And it's not too big of an idea. We're not worried about that. We might work on some hairstyle a bit. I have done characters. Based off of like concepts. As like studies. You know, just kind of practicing. Actually, I guess I could share this with you. So we had a registration for our spring classes. I think I already put something about this on Instagram if we have anyone coming from there. But I managed to get a workshop. Well, I don't know, maybe I should explain how next semester is going to work. But we have our typical class, but those classes like divided into 3 separate workshops, and with each workshop it'll probably be in each one for about a month, and that like looks awful. And we'll like focus on something specific, and then we'll get done with the workshop, and then we'll move on to another workshop that we signed up for. And I managed to be one of the lucky few who got character design. I'll be doing a bunch of character design stuff in the first bit of the semester in the spring. But the unfortunate thing is the other 2 workshops I got for the rest of the semester do not interest me as much. They're kind of like, hey, not something I want to focus on. Like the entire point of the workshops is, while you're like still in foundation class, you can kind of get a feel for your department and, you know, have a better option and how like certain departments work and stuff. So yeah, I unfortunately was not fast enough to get the other ones, but character design, yep. To be honest, I feel like in the third part of the semester I probably wouldn't have been really that satisfied, because they're all like not things I'm focusing on. You know, it's kind of like that thing where you're mostly it just feels like we've already been through this process. Like, I've already been through that process of like having different art mediums presented to me and then choosing one that I want to go with. You know, it's regular pencil to paper, you know, making 2D art, you know, that kind of stuff. But, yeah, alright. Now, should we give our character, should we give him a bunch of body armor? Or, well, we can have a good mix. We can have a good mix of some body armor and like normal clothes. I'm thinking. It was just a sketch phase, anyways. So I got it. I got an idea. Okay, so you have like a piece of cloth here. This one's side's gonna be all loose. You know, it's like it's cloth. It's kind of like loose cloth. You have body armor on this side. Well, it's technically covering the main side, but it's like sticking out over here. And it all kind of comes out. That stops right there. Not about the lower half though. What was I talking about before I started getting into this? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. Oh yeah. Some of you might be wondering why I didn't stream next week or last week, but so I think I mentioned this at some point. But I had entered a little raffle on a artist I follow's Discord server that kind of, if you won the raffle, you would play a game of Gartic.io with them, and it was like a guessing game. And it kind of occurred to me that this is probably going to be a video, and so I decided not to record. It's another reason why I won't go into details about how well I did. Let's just say, your boy is pretty smart. Not really. Your boy is a dumbass. I keep doing that. I keep cursing. I don't know, I feel like if I should be allowed to curse. And, you know, it's not my fault if kids are watching me curse. I mean, I'm just gonna try not to curse, okay? It doesn't matter. I don't want to get in trouble before I even get monetized. I mean, then again, let's be honest, worst has happened to other people. Many of you are probably wondering, I'm so dumb. Well, yeah, it's been kind of like, yeah, I think I know what I was talking about. I was going into like how college stuff. It's just kind of, this might just be a first year thing, but it kind of hasn't felt anything like I've learned anything worthwhile yet. It's all just general stuff. They're mostly like focused on you being like a gallery artist and not what you want to do. Like, a lot of people here are here because they want to go into the comics industry. I'm gonna turn this music down a little. Yeah, that looks like it's pretty loud. But yeah, sorry. I would just turn the audio up. Excuse me, but there's a lot of background noise. Like I can hear, you hear my fridge over there sometimes going off. You got the air conditioning. You get my roommates doing their stuff, whatever it is. So, the audio capture is a little down. Although I hope you can still hear me. Boom, boom. Yeah. But yeah, it's like general stuff, and it's kind of like, as I was saying, I don't know what the tort. As I was saying before, I remember my train of thought, but I was kind of going into like, I've already been through this process, deciding on what medium I want to do, and honestly, like, sure, you can have a few people who are a bit undecided. Maybe that's like a first semester thing. I think, like, the thing they're doing here for second semester, where they're kind of telling students to like go through these workshops, they should be doing in the first semester. You know, not like the entire first year. That way, you know, you still satisfy those people who are like dead serious about a certain topic, and you satisfy those who are kind of still a little on edge about like what they're gonna do. And it could be simple, like maybe you have someone's it's probably not even like something to go in foundation, but maybe you have someone who's like, well, do I want to be graphic design stuff, like someone who works on video games, or do I want to be an animator? You know, like in that situation, yeah. But the thing is, what they're doing right now does not help you decide between those two, because it's just general stuff so far. And I will say, based on what I've heard from other students in other classes, some of them have actually like been getting some useful stuff. Like I heard someone talking about like how they were doing world building in their class. And I'm just like, I wish I could do world building. I'm just, and you know, it's one of those things where it's also based on the individual teacher. Because like everyone has a different teacher. It's not like where they follow the same curriculum. The teacher creates their own like curriculum. Like sure they have to follow a certain method, but they can do whatever they want. Like they don't have to assign specific tests, which is helpful, but also stupid. Cause I'm just stuck with someone. He's not a bad guy. It's not a bad teacher, but I haven't really felt like I'm going to use anything that we've been over. It's all about like thinking about gallery installation and like where it is. But I don't plan on putting any of my art in the gallery. Ever. That's wrong. You know what? I'll come back to that. I'll add a few more details up here. Shoulder. Add a few that. Let's say that arm is exposed. Glove here. You know, just bare. Let's say this one's bare-fisted. Yeah, but it's just a first year thing. It's kind of like, and maybe I wouldn't be so like abrasive about it if I wasn't like paying so much. Well, I recognize that, you know, teacher's time and everything, all that crap, need for supplies. It just feels like I'm paying so much more than for stuff that I've already been over in high school so far. You know, that could easily be taught in a high school class. That I've actually been taught in a high school class. You know, thinking about where and that with like that makes sense. You're going over general curriculum in a high school class. You're not having people You know, sure, you can go into that whole debate about taxes or paying for it, but people aren't paying that much. Okay, and it's only a small fraction of it, like of the actual money. But it just irks me off because the whole point of college is so you can like grow in your specific field, and it still feels pretty general so far. I just don't get it. Yeah, I was gonna make this like armored. No, I don't know. It just irks me a little. You know, not gonna lie, but I am starting to feel a bit homesick. You know, being in another city, another state, like 10 hours away from my home. Okay, what am I doing for the pants? I gotta confront this eventually. Well, the thing is, like, do we want to do armored, or do we want to have to have loose and loose for this side? Hmm. Okay. So if we have like loose, you know, kind of loose like that, and at like the knees here, you kind of get like some sort of armoring. Yeah, just right. Okay. But yeah, it's just irking me that I feel like it's not worth. It doesn't feel worth the amount that I'm paying. You know, they sell like, and in the end, it's still not gonna guarantee anything. It's like art is one of those fields where you kind of just gotta get lucky in. You gotta get people to notice you. You gotta, and then be like, oh hey, I think this is cool, and then share your art. You know. And while there are definitely things that you can do to like improve your luck, so to speak, like talking to other artists, like trying to find ways to promote your art in whatever way you feel comfortable with. You know, maybe you stumble upon an art share, maybe you enter a few contests, maybe you do this and that and that. But in the end, it's still just luck. Like that thing I did last week, that's something I try to do, hoping that maybe I can bring a bit more attention to myself. But it was still like a luck thing. It was still a luck thing if I was going to win. It's still a luck thing if people see the video, see me, and are like, oh hey, you know, I want to look this guy up. He gave a pretty interesting description of what he's doing. I want to check him out. I want to check out his art. I enjoyed watching him play with this guy. You know, it's still just a luck factor. And even if with that, like, guaranteed, how many, like, when you're watching a YouTube video and they're with other YouTubers and they put their links in there, how often do you go to the channel of the other person that they link? I don't know about you, but me, I do. Like, it really depends. If I really like them, yeah. If you know, I feel like I'm satisfied with how much I see them here, not really. I will, you know, and sometimes I do have like a few art promo channels. There are people like actually don't seem like scams, which, you know, just for like art shares, the ones that like actually like go here, credit the artist and everything. You know, I have a few of those for certain subjects, and so I'll be like, oh hey, yeah, that's a cool drawing. I like their style. I like the things they do. I'll check them out, and then it's like, oh yeah, they do things like this pretty consistently. I like all this stuff. Yeah, I'll follow. But it's not too often I do that. There are also other things like hashtags. Uh, maybe you go on a hashtag. It gets a lot of general stuff, and you see one person who's like, "Oh, this is cool," but maybe like sometimes it's like I like the individual art, but it's not something I like to see generally. And that goes into an whole another thing about like following people just for follows back. Uh, if you are going to follow a person for a follow back, have that person be someone you'd enjoy their art anyways, who you'd normally follow without the need for a follow back anyways. Because if you follow someone, I am tired of seeing people like follow me and then just be like unfollow hours later because I didn't follow them back. It's like, yeah, I think your art is good, it's just not my kind of thing. It's one of those. It's one of those like style things. I know I'm not a big fan of rap music, but I do recognize some songs, some rap songs as good. And I even have a few on my playlist, but like as an overall genre, it's just not my cup of tea. I recognize them as good. I recognize some artists as like game changing. People who like define the genre, people you can point out and be like, hey, this person, this person right here is like what it means to be a rapper. This person is like a prime example who, if you were like someone just getting into the genre of music, you'd want to show them this person. I can recognize that. I can recognize that they're doing good. I can also recognize that it's just like not my thing. I don't vibe with it that much. Like I have a certain style of music I listen to, but there are also a lot of songs in my playlist that is kind of just me just being like, hey, I vibe to this song. Not it doesn't match my usual style, but I still like it. And yeah, that's just it. And that's just the thing. Like people are so entitled. They think that just because you follow them, they followed you, you have to follow them back. But that's not how it works with you. Because the thing about it is you want to have someone who's going to genuinely enjoy your content. If you have someone who's just doing it out of obligation, that's not like that's not really going to help you. You want followers who love to see what you do. They love to see you improve. They love to give feedback. People genuinely like this. Like, I wouldn't blame someone if they came in. Like, if let's say my closest friends came into the stream and were like, this is boring, I'm gonna leave. I would not blame them. Because, just because they're my friend does not mean they're obligated to help me with this. Just because they're my family members too. Just because they're my family members doesn't mean they're obligated to help me with every little thing. This is something, because let's say you run a business, and your only customers your family. Well, you're just taking money from your family. That's the same thing. They are not, and friends too. In order to like get really good, engaged audience and engaged customers, it just has to be people who see your thing and genuinely want to do it. If you're having all these paid follows or pity like customers, these people just, well, I guess not customers, because you're still getting money in that sense, but you're having like a pity audience who are just following you because obligation. That's not really gonna. They're not really gonna be insensitized and not insensitized, and they're not gonna have an incentive to share it. You know, to tell other people, hey, look at this art. Look at this. I think you should follow them. I think it's really good. Yeah, it's just a whole thing. We should probably get back to this. We're adding some designs. We're adding some details to the outfit. Some circular stuff. You know, adding decoration like this. Like my stylish meme shirt with a cat on it. With a three-eyed. Well, no, not three-eyed. I don't know why I thought it was three-eyed. Like, I always remember having three eyes, like that Mandela effect. You know, you just kind of think of something a certain way all the time, and then it turns out not to be true. It's just people collectively believe it. Yeah. Okay, anyways. Maybe a few more details I kind of want to add. That kind of effect. But yeah, sure. You know, maybe you can like get your friend to like your post and be so that it can help in the algorithm. Maybe you like a video, post, whatever. You know, maybe if your family members just be like, hey, can you do this just to boost me in the algorithm a little? But don't let. It's better to use real numbers. You know, don't let those be like. It's basically just a real thing. Like, it's more important to get numbers, like attention from those who are really like have that kid who will likely buy. You know, they're not doing it out of obligation. They're doing it because they want to, because it'll be better for you. It'll just be better. I was just gonna add a detail, but it'd be inappropriate and I'd get demonetized before I even. Also, 2 weeks ago in that video, I got a strike apparently. Well, not a strike. I wouldn't say that, but I did like get some copyright thing. I don't know why. It says it was like some music, but I was using non-copyrighted music. I'm using the same music we're using here, and I'm really getting this from someone that says like, hey, sorry, from someone who's like, hey, here's some stream-friendly music. Yeah, here's stream-friendly music for you that won't be copyrighted and stuff. Okay, hold on. Oh, I got a notification. I wonder. Skinwalkers, maybe? Oh yes, the skinwalkers are coming for my. The skinwalkers are coming for me, guys. On October 31st, the skinwalkers will come for me disguised as trick-or-treaters, and I will stop them. god. I look down over here, see my face on the camera, and it just looks weird because I'm looking at myself, looking down at myself, looking down at myself, looking down at myself, looking down. Anyways, let's just move on to the line art. Lower that opacity. In fact, we'll put it in that. We'll put it in its own folder layer, so you can just have it be out of sight, out of mind. See, but so far, as going back to that thing about like obligated followers, if you want, there's nothing wrong with following a bunch of people hoping to get a follow back, but don't follow them if one you're gonna get all mad about and just unfollow them if they don't follow you back. Only the thing is, only do it if you genuinely care about them, about the thing. And that goes for a lot of things too. Like, if you are only doing something just because someone's telling you you have an obligation, you're not gonna put 100% into it. You're kind of just gonna do it. You're not gonna. I don't know. I don't know how to put it, but basically, it's just you're not gonna care as much. Because you don't want to do it. Well, it's not that you don't want to do it. You don't want to do it as much as you could if you're being forced to. It's kind of like the joke where it's like, oh, I'm gonna clean my room, and then your parents tell you to clean your room, and then you don't want to clean your room. You would have done it anyways, but because now that it feels like you're being forced to do it, you don't want to do it anymore. It's that kind of thing. Yeah. What else can I talk about? It's 1 week till Halloween. Or just about a week. Give or take a few days. Like 8 days. I'm planning on well, not just like on Halloween, but I'm planning on just watching a bunch of horror movies. I might try to figure out how I can watch. I want to watch that old series that aired on Cartoon Network for a while, Over the Garden Wall. I have not, I think I watched it the year after it first aired, and I don't think I've watched it again ever since, and it's such a good show. It's so mysterious, and it's just fun to watch. I'm kind of disappointed in myself for not watching it, but I think it was just one of those things where I stopped watching TV in general. And I kind of just been sticking to YouTube videos and anime. Yeah. Kind of just been sticking to those two things and haven't really watched live, well, not live, or just live as in whatever's on at that time. And sure, you can make the slight arguments about how that's how I work with YouTube, because of course it's my daily watches are usually just whatever the YouTubers posted. That's another example. Sure, I have an obligation, like these are people I like to support, but I actually like their content and without being like I enjoy it without feeling pressured that I have to like it. You know, there's nothing wrong if I'm just like, this isn't. This is kind of boring or whatever, and then clicking off. No one's gonna punish me for that, and I guess it's just that kind of thing. You don't want to make it feel like you're not gonna get. People aren't gonna get rewarded or gonna be punished actually for not supporting you. People have no obligation to support you. And be appreciative. Appreciate when people support you. Just like I appreciate everyone watching, even if they are not watching live. Even if they don't watch. In fact, I appreciate everyone. Not out of obligation, but because you are a total dumbass. I cursed you, goddamn. I cursed you. My mom sent me a package. I guess she was in LA. She went to an anime store. Like a stuff that had like anime merch in it. And I remember she did this. She messaged me like asking, "Hey, what anime are you into?" And I'm like, "Oh, what do I say?" Because it's like, when you get that weird anime, it's kind of like that weird thing where it's like your parents know you're into it, but if they're getting you stuff, like, it's just kind of weird. It's just kind of weird when they're the ones, when they ask you about it. But yeah, I kind of just told her the two most tame responses. I told her Demon Slayer and My Hero Academia. And she sent me some stuff. And yeah, it was just super weird. I was like, do I be truthful or do I just be truthful enough? On the one hand, my parents discovered something weird about me. Or my parent. Heck, I mean, I'm putting myself out there. Yesterday I did, if anyone's following me on Instagram, you'll know yesterday, which is October 22nd of 2021, I did put something a little bit for me. You might not be able to hear what I'm saying, but maybe you can understand me. But yeah, and thing is, I had to kind of be like, I have like 3 family members that follow me, and 2 of them saw it. I don't know about the third one. I know like one of them liked it. One of them, I know they just saw the post because like it was a story thing, and I know they looked at the story. And usually when people look at the story, they'll also like click on it if it's a post, especially if they can't see it. I know at least 2 family members saw it. So long as this isn't my grandparents. Because, it's just that generational gap. There's a much bigger generational gap with my parent or with my grandparents than my grandparents. Like, sure, my parents grew up in a time where the media or the internet was relatively new, but it was still like a thing. And I grew up around that. And I kind of grew up around that too. Like, the internet was still relatively new. It was just getting going. And like, there's a pretty big gap between just me and my younger brother. My younger brother, he's 8 years younger than me, or about that, and there's already a big enough gap. Like, it's weird to talk about certain things because he doesn't get them as much. He doesn't have the same experience, and I'm not gonna be that, you know. I remember when I was his age, like, dude has a freaking Xbox. I didn't even have an Xbox until I was like 14. And sure, it's like right here actually. It's right over here. I'm not gonna pick it up or show you. It's sitting right there in my dorm. But in my case, it wasn't until I was like 14, 15, and I remember it was around when that second South Park game, Fractured But Whole, came out, and I'd gotten the Xbox so I could play it on my own. I had my own Xbox, and I also got a few other like Dragon Ball games, and that was only because like birthday money. I had birthday money and stuff, and like it was literally just around my birthday. I remember being like, okay, I'm gonna save this. I'm gonna wait till Black Friday, and then I'm gonna get my own Xbox, so I can get it like a little, you know, so I can maybe have some money to buy games, you know. In the end, though, I did not wait till Black Friday because I was like, okay, it's probably not worth it. It's only probably gonna be like a few bucks I'm saving, honestly, and or I'm just not gonna get it at all because people are gonna be going for it. I feel like the hair kind of style right here is kind of meh. Yeah, it looks a little less generic, if only a little. But yeah, even then, I still spent a lot of time doing other stuff. Drawing, playing with Legos, all that. Well, every time I go to my dad's house, my little brother would be like spend the afternoon playing video games and play Call of Duty. I just don't get it. And he's also like always on TikTok, and that's another thing. Like, even people a year younger than me. Maybe, well, maybe not a year. There are still few people I got along with technically because I haven't talked to them since moving here. But even a couple years, like, you know, that TikTok challenge, the devious, like, why? Why? Like, me, I cannot understand that. Why you would want to document yourself committing a crime. And, you know, I won't argue that I've never stolen, that I'm a perfectly good saint, and I've never taken stuff. But at one, I've never destroyed public property. And two, if I were to amass the total amount of things I've ever stolen in my entire life, you'd probably only be able to buy a Hershey's bar. Because most I've stolen is like an extra quarter from the vending machine. That's not even stealing, that's just like, oh, the vending machine screwed up, and yeah. So, yeah. Let's turn this off. How does that look? Okay. Yeah. I think I just need to do, but here, we're gonna erase this part. But yeah, just like that kind of generational gap. Where even it's just kind of hard to relate to even people a few years younger than me. I remember, like with Fortnite, like I don't get Fortnite. I know it's not like a generational thing, and it's pretty much the same way. Like people act the same way with Minecraft, but it's just weird. You know, it's just the environment you grew up in, I guess. And it's probably gonna get worse because, oh my god, kids are so entitled these days. Now, I don't believe in being a kid. I gotta get that straight. I need that out right now. So no one can be like, oh, you support this? That's bad. It's like, no, I don't support it. You're just taking my words and trying to generalize them. Because you fail to understand what I am saying. But you gotta be a little harsher with your kids sometimes. You know? I remember, I get punished, like, sure. My parents would do this a couple times where they'd just send me back to my room, acting like taking away my TV was the biggest deal in the world. But I'd still, like, have all my toys, and I'd just do something else till then. So, you know, after my punishment is over. And, yeah, but here's this, but there would also be times where I'd get in trouble, and instead of, like, just sending me to my room and stuff, they'd make me, like, hang out with them, because they knew I didn't like to, like, hang out with them. They knew it was boring for me to, like, sit next to them and watch Law and Order. Or whatever. You know? And yeah, there were probably a few times where I got the belt. Probably deserved it. But that's the thing. I learned from it. I learned that, hey, this is a bad thing. I was punished for it. And now I see, like, what's wrong with me. And yeah, I think you should use words. I think you should explain to a person why it's bad, not force them to believe it's bad just because you say it's bad. You know? And not just with just, like, teaching kids, just anyone. You gotta, like, have good reason to say something's bad. Because even if you're right, you know, you're not gonna be able to convince them in your argument. You're gonna lose the argument if you don't have good reason. You know, I know I've made, like, a few unreasonable decisions, but I can explain what my reason is. It's like, you know, to one it may seem unreasonable, it may not seem like the best choice. Just like the art group, you know? It's a risky thing. Maybe I won't end up succeeding in it, maybe I'll just end up having to do something else at some point. You know? But it's still something I do. It's still something I'm going to continue doing, and I'm going to enjoy it. You know, just because it makes me happy, it makes something I enjoy doing, it's something I'm pretty good at. Yeah, something I'm passionate about. I feel like every one of these streams I'd be too existential. Like, I'm not all fun and upbeat. I need to be more. You guys see the Skinwalker memes? I already mentioned this about the Skinwalkers coming to my house and disguised as trick-or-treaters. I think I really enjoy Halloween time. People get spooky, came up with, like, very paranormal related stuff. I love seeing, like, video games that come out of it in that time because, of course, it's like people are looking up scary stuff, and it's a really good time to promote your stuff if you also do that kind of thing. I'm dying here. shit, replay it. Yeah, probably. I want to watch few horror movies over the weekend. Maybe not. It doesn't have to be entirely just movies. It can be like series. Maybe I find a good horror series on YouTube, and like each episode is about an hour. Cause that's usually like my anime time. Like I get done with my exercises, I come back. Maybe I get some like water. Maybe I drink some apple juice. Kind of like to, cause I'm exercised and tired and stuff, and I feel like I'm dying. Maybe I get like a little before bed snack, and I put on some anime. I watch like 1 or 2 episodes, depending on the anime. But for this month, I'm gonna use that time, normally set for anime, to watch some horror movies. And I did watch a horror anime. That's one thing I did. But I kind of wanna. Yeah, that was like not that scary. It was more because. Well, I guess I'll just mention it. It was Ghost Stories. Anyone though in the anime community with English dubbing knows that Ghost Stories is one of like the most hilarious English dubs ever. Like when they, cause it is a ridiculous series. Cause it is just like a stupid ghost series. But I like how it makes fun of itself. It's like stupid twists and everything. I like how they just turned it into like a big joke, and I think it's just really funny. Sure, some people would say, "Oh, that's rude, Isaiah." People worked hard on that. You know what else people worked hard on? I don't know. Something's. But people put a lot of hard work. That doesn't mean I have to like it. But yeah, I just think it was like really funny, but it's not really that scary. I want to get in that horror mindset. I want to get in that mindset that makes me want to not sleep in the dark. That makes me think that something's gonna reach out from the shadows and grab me from behind. Maybe something's even in your closet. Okay, we're just gonna ignore that and pretend nothing happened. Everything's great. Everything's great. If you hear whispering, don't answer them. Only answer to me. Pretend they're not there. But yeah, I really like October because there are always like creators come out and being like, "Hey, let's do some scary stuff." And it really inspires me. It kind of gets the brain going. For me, especially because, I like to draw horror stuff. And sure, like when I just start doing manga, except for like this first one, I'll probably be more like focused on the action, but I can definitely throw like some scary stuff in there. They aren't mutually exclusive. Well, I do agree in some cases, the action scene kind of takes away the fear of it, but I think if done right, you can still have some pretty good horror and some action scenes. It's just that kind of thing. Let's go with blue. Let's go with the light blue. Honestly, I should probably just finish like coloring the blue areas before I fix it. But hey, this is just for fun. This is if I were like on a major time crunch. Yeah. If it was like a situation where, God, if I don't get this done today, I'm gonna be screwed. Then yeah, like I'd kind of beat myself up a little for doing something like that. But this is just for fun, for you guys to help and to watch and enjoy. Let's go orange. We'll just kick it slow. That may be a too bright of orange. Yeah, that works a bit better. But yeah, I had to done some character studies, kind of like just trying to go over the top. I don't know what to talk about. I don't get how people can talk like hours straight by themselves. I'm not a big talker. Now I do, and it's not to say I don't enjoy talking. It's just usually I don't know what to talk about, and when I do know, I feel like I ramble a bit. But you know what? You came here to listen to me ramble. You came here because I threatened you. Right? No. Dude's got no face. What a loser. Imagine not having a face. Imagine. Ha 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 ha. Okay, honestly, if someone like approached me like that, I'd be really terrified. Yeah, I'm really glad to see picking up traction. Mystery Flesh Pit National Park. I'm sure it like already had some traction. Just the fact like that someone made a video on it when I first had it. But the fact that I keep seeing it, especially lately, is great. Like that people are regularly talking about it. You know, it reminds me. It's probably not even that people are just starting to talk about it. It's just that I'm noticing that people are talking about it. Like I wrote about this and I'm talking about this in my current essay a bit, another useless thing, but I'm kind of talking about how it's more of like one part of my essay. It's about perception, the whole like gist of it. But I'm kind of talking about like it's not, you know, that anomaly where people will say like, oh, I was just thinking about this thing and all of a sudden I see it's everywhere, like people are talking about it already, or like I just watched this anime, I've never seen it before, but now I'm noticing all these like things people are talking about. It's like it's not that people are talking about it suddenly, it's more of probably that like you are noticing it. You know, you get the reference. You know. What anime was I gonna talk about? Like Mystery Flesh Pit. Now I get it when people talk about, if people make a joke about Mystery Flesh Pit, I'm gonna get it. You know, I think it was another anime. I recently watched Gurren Lagann, the anime. Really good, by the way. And now I'm like, I get it. I get the jokes. Yeah. Essay. God dang. I don't really know what I'm doing for this essay, to be honest. Like the last one, I barely knew what I was doing, but this one I even know what I'm doing even less. It's just an obscure topic. And once again, I feel like I drew the short end of the stick because someone's talking about what they're doing. And they're doing like they're doing something where they have to research it, but it's like it can be fake research. It can be whatever made up crap they want, and like they don't have to actually research. They just have to make it sound like they researched it. And I think that'd be so fun. Like imagine writing a fake research paper on something like Ghost or whatever monster you make up. Okay, we have 4 hours. I'm tired. It's only 1:30. It's only 1 o'clock. Why am I so tired? That's probably because I don't get enough sleep. But anyways, what color do we make the belt and the pants? We're back on the conundrum. I know what color I'm gonna make this. I'm gonna make it go a little darker for this part. Yeah. Honestly. But yeah, so far, at least in my experience, college has just felt like another year of high school. It still feels like I am having to spend a lot of time learning stuff I'm not going to actually use. You know, like with my art history class, that's a good class. I enjoy it. It's pretty simple, straightforward. Pay attention in class, take good notes, and we only have like 3 little tests we had to do, comparing 2 of the many images we've gone over. You know, she narrows it down for us too. Like I really like that teacher class. I really like the teacher. It's pretty easy, but just there's still like a little thing where why do I have to learn about art history? Like, how is that going to impact me? Like, sure, it's fun to learn about, but how is it actually going to help me in what I'm doing right now? How is knowing, especially if I'm not going into it, you know, how is knowing stuff about how the names of the building techniques that the Greeks used, or like stuff which I can't even remember off the top of my head. It's something I know what the Stonehenge used. It's post-lintel construction. I know arched. I don't know. I can't remember it. Like, see, it's not something that I find useful, so it's getting harder to remember. It's just another class to say you took another class. You know? It's just that kind of thing. Bum, 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 bum. Okay, so our color palette is blue and orange. Completely opposite from each other. Blue, orange, and white. You know what I think it is? It's just I'm talking more than usual. I'm not so used to talking this much. Like, sure, I'm doing this out of obligation. This is something I'm doing out of obligation. But it's because I want to. I would face no consequences from shutting off right now. And, yeah. But, I don't know. I wanna talk to other artists on stream. I wanna draw for other people. I wanna interact. You know, I wanna be the kind of person who interacts with people, who enjoy their art. Like, even if I'm at the point where I can fully depend on my manga. I don't have to do much stuff in other terms of other art to like make money. I probably still do this because I want to like interact with people. I want to see what people think of my art, and I want to help people. Like the whole reason I make art, well, part of it is one, I enjoy it. I simply enjoy it. You know. Another reason is I wanna make the kind of story that like inspired me. Like I've been pretty like I've told people how Dragon Ball inspired me into getting into art, and I want to do that for other people. I want to do that for people who will be born years from now. Maybe they were born recently and they'll be at the age I was when I read Dragon Ball. They'll read my stuff and be like, hey, I want to do something. And it's not just art, you know, you can be like get ideas for other things. You know? Maybe you see something like a cool sci-fi idea and you're like, God, what if I tried to make that real? Not just in a sci-fi. What if I like tried to make a device that did that? You know? It's the absurd. If we don't think a little absurdly, we're not going to progress. Hold on. I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, I guess there's nothing light. Let's go light blue. How about, yeah. Maybe. Oh yeah, that's nice. But yeah, I kind of just want to get people to think, get those imaginative juices flowing, kind of think of new things. Think of new ideas and, you know, you know. But other than that, yeah, I just enjoy doing it. It's something I really enjoy. Yeah, I'm kind of like thinking, they want us to have like artist statements for our classes, and I'm probably just gonna say like, yeah, it's not supposed to be some grand thing that changes the entire world. It's just something meant to be viewed, enjoyed, maybe a little inspired, without like any major purpose. Because if with my art, like how I'm posting it now, if someone were literally just to go to it and be like, oh hey, that's cool, and then walk away, I wouldn't mind that, because, you know, I've given them a little momentary bit where they can enjoy something they like. Even if it's momentarily, I've made them forget about their issues, you know, just to enjoy something cool. And that's all I really hope for. No big thing. No big thing. I have a funny story. So, okay, last Saturday I had to go to the grocery store because I was running out of milk and a few other things. Usually, if it's just milk, I'll just go to the gas station across the street. I ran out of milk. I went to Walmart and I get some snacks. I got what I needed. I got a few snacks, and one of the snacks was some Pringles. Now, I just saw that they were barbecue Pringles. I didn't really read too much in it because I was just there. I was hoping to get in and out, grab what I wanted, and leave. Because it's quite the drive. I really don't like city driving. I'm gonna call my phone's at 100%. I really don't like city driving, and I kind of just wanted to get back to my room, hang out for the rest of the evening. But I grabbed the Pringles. I saw that they were barbecue. I got back. I tasted some, and I realized I had apparently gotten like ones that were meant to be spicy. Now, I know not many of you really know me that well, but for the few that do, I cannot handle spicy foods that well. I will eat them, and I will enjoy them if it's like mild at least. But anymore, and I literally cannot eat anymore anything. Like, I'm not gonna enjoy it. But I got the Pringles, right? And they're the super spicy kind. I don't know that yet. I get home, I put everything away. Later in the night, I grab a few, and I'm just like, like my lips are burning, my tongue's burning. I'm like, what the heck? I look at it and I realize I'm like, God, why did I? Like, kind of being mad at myself. Luckily, I was home alone. But yeah, now I got spicy Pringles. They're not too bad. I only eat a few at a time anyways. Yeah. So, it's not like... I probably grab like 2 or 3, 4 at a time. So, it's not too bad. I can handle that pretty easily. I just pop one in. It goes away in like 30 seconds. What color should we make the hair? I say we make it a bit of a dark green, just in contrast to the blue and yellow, and a red, or maybe we can make it teal because we got some red over here. Yeah, a little like that. That kind of weird anime colored hair. You know, or like just the main character in anime. It's like the person who has the most over the top hair. It's all the colors of the rainbow. Yeah. They maybe you're like wearing a similar outfit to other people, but it's just like there's certain features that make them stand out above everyone else. You know, maybe I should just make this all white. Maybe not. Maybe like a little darker, just so it's not the exact same color. But I'm gonna be honest, I'm not really feeling this blue. This highly like saturated blue on what you think would be, you know, regular clothing. It doesn't have any like large amounts of. You know, another thing, I just remembered that I have an issue here. I probably already mentioned this, but people always seem to think, like, not recognize what you're going for when giving critique, and they kind of are like, well, I think you should do this, I think you should do this, and being like, kind of feeling like they have to do it a certain way. They're always going to be like stylistic and oppositional thinking to you. It's best to just be like, okay. And that's where like my teacher did say like, hey guys, remember like, don't say you should, say I think you should, just so it doesn't come off as pretentious, which still is. Honestly, telling someone like, maybe giving general tips is okay. Like, I'd like it if someone were like, look at my art and be like, hey, I think you should work on this. I got a really useful tip at the beginning of summer. I was like, hey, I really like how you did this. I think if you did a lot more of it, and worked on it a bit, you'd probably get a lot more attention and more people would be interested in your art. And so I started working on it, and it's definitely helped a bit. Having proper setting. That's what we said, man. Okay, let's just. Actually, we'll keep this orange. We'll keep it orange, we just won't do that ugly, bright orange. Alright. I think that's pretty good. There are a lot of, like, flaws with it. For one, we're not, like, you can't really tell much about the character. Maybe he's a brawler type, maybe like having more weapons. You can definitely tell he's a warrior, but you can't really like get too much about it. Like what kind of warrior? He looks more like a him kind of. Of course, I kind of screwed up the legs, but I don't wanna care. I could honestly fix it. Hold on. There. Now there are some issues, as I was gonna say. You can't really get much out of the character. You can get that he's a warrior, and that's it. Usually, when you're building a character, you want to be like, you want to have the idea of the character first, what they're like. And in this one, we were kind of just being like, hey, what's cool? What looks good? Now, I was definitely going for that warrior type feeling. I definitely feel like I captured that a little, but I just didn't. And this leads into my second point. I didn't go too over the top. You have a bit over the top with like these fancy decorations, these lines. The little gauntlet here, having like 3 sections. The pants, the little kneecaps. But it could be much more over the top. Let me see this. Footballs. Character practice 4. That's how you do. It's saved as a PNG too, so yeah. But I'm just saying it could be a bit more over the top. And that's a criticism I kind of like. I'd like someone to, if I were to put this on Instagram or something, or put it up for critique, I'd be like, hey, I'd like some criticism on this. How would you, any suggestions? maybe with someone be like, I see what you're going for. Here's some options. Maybe you could work on some of the specific adding details. Don't just randomly, like, sure, this is a bit less than random, but these marks right here for folds are a bit not what they should be. They do seem like they're just there. Maybe someone was just that. Maybe line art. Maybe you work on this and this and this. Just don't try to be too specific with it. It's just general things. Say, hey, you could work on this. You can work on this. You can work on this. Don't be like, hey, you should do this. You should do this. Or like try to have elements that are already in there and say how people can improve on them. Don't try to add in your own element or the element, like just something that the author or the artist doesn't have, because they probably don't have that element for a good reason. I remember people were like, or during my first assignment, people were like, oh, why don't you paint it? And I'm just like, oh, that's just a stylistic thing. I work in this way. It's like, well, you should just paint it just instead. And like, I wanted to just be like, no, that's stupid. That's not how I work. Why would I work in a way that I don't usually do? If I'm not going to do it professionally, why would I do it here? And sure, you can make the argument, well, this is just a class. That's part of it. Doing stuff that you wouldn't normally do sometimes. But still, it's so annoying. And I don't like working with paint. I don't know why, but I just have this thing when it comes to working with paint where it just kind of pisses me off. I don't know. It just says that. Well, anyways, we've reached the hour and 30 mark. I'm sorry for not being more planned ahead of time. I literally was thinking this morning, okay, what should I do? I'll try to make sure to have something a bit more next week. Maybe we find some non-copyrighted scary stories to listen to, and maybe we can draw a sketch out. That would be interesting. I have definitely heard a few good scary stories lately, and I would like to share them with my audience who possibly has not heard them yet. I hope all of you have a great week, and do not let the ghosts get you. And do not look in the mirror, for they do not like to be seen in the mirror. Do not turn off the light, for you will reveal what is in the dark. Goodbye. Oh, I don't have an ending.